Breaking news! Something is happening in Baltimore that could change the entire landscape of the AFC North this season, and it's not just about Lamar Jackson playing at an MVP level again. There are whispers inside the league that this Ravens roster might be the most dangerous we've seen in years, and rival teams are already scrambling to figure out how to stop them. But here's the twist. While Baltimore looks unstoppable on paper, there are a few key moments from last season that have people questioning whether this team can really handle the pressure when it matters most. Some analysts are even saying that one bad habit, one mistake that hasn't fully gone away, could cost them everything if they don't fix it fast. What could that be? And is this really the year Baltimore dominates the division from start to finish? Or are we overlooking something big? But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens!" Right now. Let's show the AFC North that Baltimore fans are louder than ever. Now, let's dive in. 5 huge reasons make this season feel different, and they're not just based on hope. They're grounded in facts and performances we saw last year. First and foremost, Lamar Jackson is officially over his Steelers curse. For years, critics have thrown the same narrative at him. He couldn't beat Pittsburgh consistently. He couldn't outplay Mike Tomlin's defense. That's old news now. Before Week 16 last season, Lamar's numbers against Pittsburgh weren't great. 22 sacks, just 5 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, averaging 213 yards per game with a 56.7% completion rate. But when it mattered most, Week 16 and Wild Card Weekend, he turned the narrative upside down. Over those 2 games, Lamar posted a 70% completion rate for passing touchdowns, just 1 interception, and a passer rating of 123.7. More importantly, he sent Pittsburgh home in the playoffs. Those weren't just regular season games. Those were high-pressure, season-defining moments. He silenced everyone who ever said he couldn't beat Pittsburgh when it mattered most. That's a psychological barrier gone, and that alone changes everything in this rivalry. But Lamar's breakthrough is only part of the story. Look at the competition. The Cincinnati Bengals, despite having Joe Burrow, are a mess on defense. Burrow had an incredible individual season, nearly 5,000 yards, 43 touchdowns, 70% completion rate, and yet they didn't even make the playoffs. Why? Because their defense was terrible, 26th in points per game, 25th in yards per game, 23rd on third down percentage. It was bad last year, and this offseason hasn't solved their problems. In fact, things might be worse. Trey Hendrickson, who led the NFL with 17.5 sacks, is holding out because Cincinnati won't offer him more than a 1-year deal. And rookie first-rounder Shamar Stewart hasn't even signed his contract yet due to disputes. Those distractions alone could tear apart what little cohesion they have on defense. So while people keep hyping Joe Burrow, the reality is simple. Baltimore has the more complete team, and Cincinnati's defense doesn't look ready to stop Lamar and this offense. Speaking of questionable moves, what about Pittsburgh's big splash signing, Aaron Rodgers? Some fans are acting like he's going to change everything, but if you look at the situation, it's hard to see this working out. Rodgers is 40, coming off an Achilles tear 2 years ago, and he doesn't have the mobility that once made him great. His improvisational magic, slipping away from defenders and throwing darts downfield, isn't there anymore. And Pittsburgh's offensive line isn't exactly built to protect an aging quarterback. Last season, they were 24th in sacks allowed, 28th in sack percentage, and didn't crack the top 20 in pressures or blitz protection. Losing their starting left tackle, Dan Moore Jr., in free agency only makes it worse. Sure, they added DK Metcalf and Jonnu Smith, but outside of that, who scares you in their receiver room? And with Najee Harris gone, the run game isn't going to take pressure off Rodgers either. This isn't Green Bay, and this isn't 2014 Rodgers. It's hard to imagine him thriving in this environment. And here's the biggest reason for Ravens fans to be excited. This is arguably the best roster John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson have had together. Offensively, it's a dream. Derrick Henry in the backfield, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, 2 elite tight ends in Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, and a wide receiver group featuring Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and DeAndre Hopkins. Defensively, it's just as impressive. Roquan Smith leading the charge, Kyle Hamilton, the best safety in the league, locking down the back end, Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Jair Alexander, Malachi Starks, and a strong pass rush with Odefoa and Kyle Van Noy. Add Mike Green from the draft, and you have a defense that can match anyone. The timing is crucial too, with upcoming contract extensions for Lamar, Likely, Tyler Linderbaum, and Hamilton. This might be the last year before the salary cap starts tightening. If there was ever a year to make a deep run, it's this one. And let's be honest about the Browns. The Browns. Joe Flacco is their starting quarterback. Kenny Pickett is QB2, and Shader Sanders is fourth on the depth chart. That quarterback room is a revolving door waiting to happen. On top of that, their second-round running back Quinshall June was just arrested for domestic violence. This is not a team ready to compete for anything serious. And here's where things get even more interesting. If Baltimore truly wants to dominate the AFC North the way fans are expecting, it's going to come down to how they handle key matchups and how this roster stays healthy over the course of the season. Lamar Jackson has already shown he can outduel Pittsburgh when the stakes are highest, but consistency is the key. Beating the Steelers in Week 16 in the wild card was a statement, but doing it again, especially with Mike Tomlin scheming against him twice a year, will define this team's mental toughness. The big difference this time? Lamar isn't walking into those games with the same burden he had in the past. He's already proved he can do it, and now he has a better supporting cast than ever. That psychological shift is massive, not just for Lamar, but for the entire offense. Another thing to consider is how Derrick Henry changes everything. For years, the Ravens have relied heavily on Lamar's legs to bail them out in tough situations. Now, with Henry in the backfield, opposing defenses have to pick their poison. Stack the box to stop Henry, and Lamar will carve them up in the passing game with Zay Flowers or DeAndre Hopkins. Drop into coverage, and Henry will bulldoze his way through linebackers for big gains. This balance is something the Ravens haven't had since Lamar became the starter, and it's going to make Todd Monken's offense even more dangerous. Add Justice Hill and Keaton Mitchell for speed and change-of-pace plays, and this running game could be the most feared in the NFL. Defensively, this team might be even scarier. Roquan Smith continues to play like one of the best linebackers in football, and the secondary is loaded with talent. Kyle Hamilton isn't just good, he's game-changing. His ability to cover tight ends, blitz effectively, and shut down passing lanes gives the Ravens flexibility most defenses can only dream about. Pair that with Marlon Humphrey's lockdown coverage, Jaire Alexander's physicality, and Nate Wiggins' speed, and you're looking at a secondary that could frustrate even the best quarterbacks in the league. And let's not overlook the pass rush. Odafoa is expected to take another leap. Kyle Van Noy brings veteran leadership, and rookie Mike Green could be an immediate contributor. The window to win isn't just wide open, it might be now or never. Once Lamar's new contract and extensions for players like Likely, Linderbaum, and Hamilton kick in, the front office won't have the same flexibility to keep adding high-level talent. That's why this season feels urgent. Fans can sense it, and you can feel it within the organization. This is the year to strike, and if everything goes as planned, Baltimore won't just win the AFC North, they'll make a legitimate Super Bowl run. But the AFC North isn't going to just hand it to them. Joe Burrow is still one of the best quarterbacks in football, and even with a weak defense, he's capable of keeping Cincinnati in games. Pittsburgh's defense remains physical and opportunistic, and even if Rodgers struggles, Tomlin-coached teams are always competitive. And while the Browns are a mess, divisional games are never easy. Every team in this division plays Baltimore like it's their Super Bowl, which means there are no guaranteed wins, no matter how talented this roster is. The real question is, can this Ravens team live up to the hype when it matters most? Can they not only dominate in the regular season but also carry that momentum into January and finally break through in the playoffs? We've seen talented Ravens rosters before fall short, but this one feels different. The combination of elite talent, balance on offense and defense, and a quarterback playing at the peak of his confidence sets the stage for something special. So now it's your turn. Do you believe this is finally the year Baltimore puts it all together and makes that deep playoff run we've all been waiting for? And do you think Lamar Jackson can finally silence every critic once and for all with a Super Bowl appearance? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive Ravens updates. And check out the videos popping up on your screen right now for more deep dives into Baltimore's 2025 season outlook. Go Ravens!